Outrageous moments on paternity court.
Boy sitting over here talking about he want to leave a seed in the world, and you all arguing back and forth with one another instead of encouraging and empowering these young people. Your daughter's putting her dreams, opening her legs, trying to get a dream up between her legs instead of having a dream in her mind. And you want to argue with this woman across this courtroom. Now y'all done made me crazy. I'm furious.
You sitting up here, you taking her side.
I'm not gonna let you leave here thinking I'm taking anybody's side. You came here because you wanted to know, and I'm gonna give you those answers.
The case of Austin versus Wallace revolves around the paternity of a 9-month-old child named Ronell. Miss Austin, the mother, has brought Mr. Wallace to court to establish his paternity and seek his involvement in raising their child. This case is a continuation of a previous matter where Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of another child.
Ms. Austin, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation.
The court session reveals a tumultuous history between Miss Austin and Mr. Wallace. The latter expresses doubts about being the biological father due to Miss Austin's alleged promiscuity. The tension escalates as both parties exchange accusations and insults, leading to disruptions in the court proceedings.
I had installed spyware on her phone. For about the 5th, 6th time, I called her texting different men.
Well, where your proof at?
You saying that didn't happen?
Where your proof at? Lie detector me, please, right now. I'm not you, just because you lay down with everybody who you talk to.
Or you a
Hold on.
The judge, expressing frustration with the recurring issues, questions why both women are vying for a relationship with Mr. Wallace despite his evident lack of commitment and maturity. Miss Austin admits to having a relationship with another man during a difficult period, further complicating matters.
If I'm dead, so why you keep on sleeping with me? Why? I'm pregnant again. Why?
So
Why
now,
do you keep allowing me to sleep?
I'm gonna keep on just because I know that you with her.
If you would sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low self-esteem.
let's get some order.
What?
Amidst the chaos, the judge reveals the DNA test results, confirming that Mr. Wallace is indeed the father of Ronell. Despite this revelation, the judge emphasizes the need for the parties to address their underlying issues and recommends counseling.
You sitting up here, you taking her side.
I'm not gonna let you leave here thinking I'm taking anybody's side. You came here because you wanted to know, and I'm gonna give you those answers. Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father.
To assist with this, a social worker, Mr. Wright, joins the court session via Skype. He offers resources and support to help the involved parties navigate their challenges. The judge encourages them to accept the assistance provided and work towards creating a healthier environment for the child.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, I have a number of social services. I have a number of resources that I want to wrap these young people in, but are they willing to accept my help?
Good question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
In the courtroom clash between Miss Kristen Greenhouse and Mr. Gregory Thompson, the spotlight shines on a tumultuous 11-year relationship marked by accusations, insecurities, and most recently, a canceled wedding. Miss Greenhouse, the plaintiff, seeks a DNA test to establish paternity for her 7-month-old son, G. Thompson, while also pursuing a financial claim of $750 for a down payment made on a car for Mr. Thompson.
I was gonna marry Gregory. We were dating for 11 years off and on. I have a 4-year-old son by Gregory, and I also have a 7-month-old by Gregory. I called off the wedding because he's insecure, he's disrespectful, and I don't wanna marry someone like that.
After 11 years, you just figured that out?
No, we were together for 11 years off and on, but I have my 4-year-old son.
The courtroom drama escalates with the involvement of Mr. Thompson's mother, Susan Thompson, who also questions G's paternity. Ms. Greenhouse's younger sister, Chanti Ganos, takes the stand, testifying that she overheard Mr. Thompson rejecting the idea of a DNA test before G's birth.
I help them as much as I can with rent, lights, car payments, whatever they need, whatever I can do to keep them a family together, I will do.
She was like, we can get a DNA test. Greg said, man, shut up. Like, he was excited. Like, man, shut up. For what? That's exactly what he said.
And you heard that.
I was on the phone with her.
The relationship narrative unfolds with Mr. Greenhouse portraying Mr. Thompson as an insecure and disrespectful partner, who has neglected his responsibilities as a father. Mr. Thompson, in turn, counters by raising doubts about G's paternity, claiming Miss Greenhouse admitted to having intercourse with another man shortly before they reconnected.
When we're not together, she got this high power, want to sit on the high horse and think she gonna run me or make me do something.
A baby needs formula, a baby needs diapers.
Just
He don't
like
move
when
on
they
the
was on
side.
there, I
You
give them
don't.
the world. I did it for her kids, did it for her sister, son.
She just fed you.
She ain't fed me.
Fed all y'all.
Okay,
Despite Miss Greenhouse presenting a $750 car down payment receipt for their family, the court rejects her financial claim due to insufficient evidence. Paternity results confirm Mr. Thompson as G's biological father. The judge emphasizes prioritizing children's well-being and encourages both parents to find common ground for family stability.
Mr. Thompson, you are the father.
I feel more relief
For what? And you knew
than
this
having.
from jump.
I did. I
You knew
did.
this from jump.
You knew I had doubts from jump. She
Everyone's
has nothing
entitled to
say.
their beliefs or doubt, but my whole thing is like, don't doubt my son when I break up with you because you're disrespectful.
The case of White versus White began unraveling a narrative of love, betrayal, and the desperate pursuit of redemption. As the proceedings unfolded, Kayla found herself at the center of a storm, a protagonist grappling with the consequences of her actions. Her admission of past infidelity cast a shadow over the already strained relationship, laying bare the fractures in their marriage.
Mr. White, you claim to have physical proof your wife broke her vows, and as much as you love Savannah, you do not believe you're her biological father and are prepared to divorce your wife when the test proves your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White, a divorce?
Yes, ma'am.
Albert, once the devoted husband, now stood as the voice of doubt, challenging the paternity of their 3-year-old daughter, Savannah. The courtroom, a silent audience, witnessed to a family on the brink. Judge Lark dissected the narrative with a keen eye. Kayla's yearning for redemption clashed with Albert's stoic resolve, setting the stage for a climactic revelation.
From a week after we got married until February of this year, I've been catching her cheek.
A week after you got married?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. White, have you been cheating?
Yes, but I have like abandonment issues, but I just want him to like show me love and affection and be there for me and like hold my hand in public.
The courtroom drama intensified as Albert presented damning evidence, a digital trail of broken promises and deceit in the form of text messages. Kayla's attempts to explain her actions collided with Albert's unwavering determination to uncover the truth.
Why are you entertaining all these men on text?
He's not there for
Always
me.
pivoting, you're trying to put it off on me. How you expect me to treat you the way you want to be treated when you're sitting here sexting other people and doing all this other stuff? I'm not going to give somebody something they want when I'm getting treated like I'm just a piece of crap and getting used to take care of the kids.
The narrative reached its zenith as the judge delivered the pivotal revelation. Savannah, the innocent soul entangled in this familial drama, was confirmed to be Albert's biological daughter. The weight lifted, but the scars of betrayal lingered.
You are her father. This last result was a prenatal test for your unborn child. But this court is pleased to say, Mr. White, you are the child's biological father.
Tension filled the courtroom as Mr. Webb denied being the biological father of Miss Cole's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. Conflicting narratives emerged about their relationship. Mr. Webb claimed friendship without intimacy, while Ms. Cole asserted a week-and-a-half stay with a sexual encounter leading to Majestic's conception.
Take me back to the night you believe you conceived.
I know that it was a night that we was partying.
Your Honor, the worst that we've ever done is take a picture, and she was already in the bathroom. She had called me in there. When I walked in the bathroom, she said cheese and took a picture before I could even say anything. She
There's more
posted it
than
on
one.
Facebook, and when I told her to take it down, she refused to because she's crazy.
The courtroom drama escalated with accusations of lying, partying, and Facebook posts. Miss Cole's mother joined the fray, accusing Mr. Webb of being a punk bum and claiming that they provided for him during his stay. Amidst the chaos, Mr. Webb maintained his denial of ever having a sexual relationship with Miss Cole.
She knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. She knows I'm not like that. I don't do that type of stuff.
I've known him for 7 years and he's not like that at all. And you called me with his friend telling me that he was there for 3 weeks and you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first I did believe that. But then I heard his story and none of it. Shut up, I am talking.
Let's be respectful.
As emotions ran high, Mr. Webb sought to present evidence in the form of text messages, attempting to demonstrate that Miss Cole was uncertain about the paternity and suggested another potential father. The courtroom atmosphere became increasingly charged as Miss Cole expressed her conviction that Mr. Webb was the father.
The window of conception is in blue.
Yeah.
And then Majestic was born on the 28th of January, correct?
Yes.
When were you intimate with the other guy?
You don't even know.
May 15th. 16th.
How do you get those two mixed up? That's over a month. How are you gonna say that you think it's him and then over a month?
The due date.
No.
The doctor gave the due date.
The proceedings concluded dramatically with DNA test results revealing Mr. Webb wasn't Majestic's father. Visibly upset, Ms. Cole expressed disappointment, acknowledging feeling foolish. The judge stressed prioritizing the child's well-being, offering counseling resources. The case highlighted interpersonal complexity and the need for clarity in paternity matters.
Listen, the most important thing is to keep Majestic first, all right?
Always.
And I don't want you to be in position where you are just accusing this man and that man. Really think about it first. And when you reach out to that person, if they'd like a DNA test to be sure, get it so Majestic can have that clarity too. Do you understand?
Yes.
In a tense courtroom drama, the case of Sissom versus Riley and Taylor unfolded, unveiling a tangled web of emotions and relationships. Miss Sissom and her daughter Destiny were adamant about Anthony Taylor being the father of 8-month-old Osiris, while Miss Riley vehemently demanded a DNA test, questioning Anthony's paternity.
I have a grandson that's 8 months old. He needs his father. I know what it's like not to have a father. I'm here because of Osiris.
You truly believe Anthony is this child's father?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've changed the course of your life by having this baby. Did your mother know you were having sex?
No, Your Honor.
Judge Lake, a firm yet empathetic presence, navigated through the emotional minefield. Miss Sissom's unwavering conviction clashed with Miss Riley's skepticism, laying bare the shattered dreams and secrets surrounding Destiny's pregnancy. As accusations flew, the courtroom brimmed with tension, highlighting the consequences of teenage recklessness.
They plotted this plot, pulled it off, and now we're all here.
Yep,
and sometimes that's what kids do. And cell phone having we got, it ain't never a day in this world your daughter should be able to tell you spend a night over a friend's house. What friend? Who's the mother? Where's the number? I'm calling. No, I'm telling you this.
Anthony, the young father at the center of the storm, revealed his tumultuous life and the desire to leave a legacy through fatherhood. The DNA results confirmed Anthony as Osiris's father. The courtroom erupted in a mix of joy and lingering resentment, encapsulating the complex emotions of the entangled families.
You all are kids. You don't know what the world you're doing. The rationale is so irrational, it's scary. I get the reason, but the immaturity and the lack of understanding in which you approach this entire situation, we gotta do better.
Judge Lake, a voice of reason, admonished the mothers, emphasizing the responsibilities ahead. The gavel's final fall echoed a stark reminder of the fragile trust and resilience required in navigating the aftermath of the revealed paternity. The entangled bonds of the Sissom, Riley, and Taylor families were exposed, leaving an indelible mark on their intertwined lives.
These kids had pulled off a plot against both of you all to defy their mother's orders and to do what they shouldn't be doing. I see why they had opportunity. The boy sitting over here talking about he want to leave a seed in the world, and you all arguing back and forth with one another instead of encouraging and empowering these young people. I'm furious.
Miss Dennis was out here seeking her elusive father after 23 long years. The court, buzzing with anticipation, held the key to a first-time meeting that could either be heartwarming or heart-wrenching. Knowing the theme here, my money was on the latter.
You've been searching for your father since you were 12 years old.
Yes.
But you have never seen him. You have never spoken to him. You have never heard his voice.
Not one time.
And so today will be the very first day you will do that. And I wanted to make sure you were okay and you were prepared.
Now, the plaintiff unveiled a lifetime quest for her father, and that too only armed with wedding photos. Yep, that was the only lead she had. Daddy Dearest, however, stood firm in denial. Ouch! And claimed a rocky marriage while questioning the timing of his alleged paternity revelation.
Well, I've had pictures my entire life. I've been looking at them since I was very little. I feel that I look exactly like him. I have his nose, his cheekbones, his eyes. My mother says that I look just like his mother when she was younger. When they got married, when they split up, I know for a fact that my mother was not with anybody else during the time that they were together.
Moving on, the poor daughter had to spill the beans about her mother's past. And what did Mr. Dennis do? Oh, he countered with accusations of infidelity, pointing fingers at a dubious boat escapade.
My position here right now today is to give her closure, myself closure. I believe I'm not, because when me and her mother were married, I was a truck driver at the time. And on Memorial Day weekend, I was down in Florida. She is out on the lake in the middle of the night by herself on an antique wooden boat with her ex-boyfriend.
Hold tight right now, because the boat ride ended up creating a heck of a lot of trouble for these guys. The defendant recounted the moment he discovered his wife's pregnancy and how their marriage hit the rocks. Truck driving and boat driving. What was up with this combo, huh?
You have never seen Miss Dennis?
No, ma'am, I have not until today. Yes, ma'am.
You have never laid eyes on her?
Never have.
Until this day, this moment?
Yes, ma'am. I have requested from her mother, and I have proof for DNA test and everything else, that I have been denied by courts from her mother and everybody else.
Next up was the pure chaos, as Daddy Dennis contended that he'd never laid eyes on the supposed daughter, while she claimed years of ignored attempts to connect. Ooh, someone was lying for sure here.
Mr. Dennis says that you cheated with this man.
She is telling
which
a
led to
fable
you
story.
becoming pregnant.
And she was
Yes,
dating the man
he
at the
was,
time when I
and
met
we dated
her.
for a period of time before I met Steve Dennis. After I met
Now,
Steve
see, she
Dennis,
said she
we
had
never
no
dated.
relationships with him whatsoever.
I did
He was
not
just a
have
friend.
sexual relationship.
Continuing with this paternity mess, baby mama tried to make sense of this all. And that attempt failed because whatever she said, the former husband called it a bunch of lies. Just like the way she called his testimony a lie too. I'm sensing now why it took them this long to figure it all out.
Miss Dennis, have you ever heard anything about this other man, of someone who could be your biological
I know
dad?
the man, I've met the man, but I don't I don't
So you
think
know
so.
him and you've met him?
Yes.
Tell him about the hurt.
It's 23 years of wondering why. Why doesn't my father want me?
Now, Mr. Dennis had a major issue with the child support. It was a lot of money, I agree, and it clearly showed his priorities. While he lamented on that, he stole focus from the daughter and her longing for a father. And we know who's very capable of reminding him that. Enter Lauren Lake with her wrathful wisdom.
Because if your wife had gotten pregnant by you and it was your child, but you were confused or doubtful, what's the point? Let me just prove him wrong and let's have this DNA test so you can be quiet. So, Ms. Mira, what would you like to say in response?
That it was the biggest load of horse pucky I ever heard in my life.
Time for the DNA diagnostics to take center stage. Yep, they were here to save the day. Well, our day at least, because this family's day was still on hold, as all eyes were on the results. Let's see whether their lifetime quest finally ends, or is there another twist waiting in the wings?
Mr. Dennis, you are the father.
I'm sorry.
It's good to finally meet you.
Same here. We can try to grow from here.
You don't have to thank me. They call me Your Honor, but it is truly my honor.
I got zero spiritual energy from this child. I had zero vibe with this child. I looked at her. She don't look like me. She don't look like my sister. She don't look like no female in my family. She don't look like nobody in my family.
I think she likes to destroy homes. Like she likes to deal with attached men.
How? She worked at a bar. She had 2 jobs to support me and my
She hung out
sister.
there afterward.
Okay, just because she hung out, does that mean she's sleeping with other people? You hang out at a bar, are you sleeping with everybody in the bar?
If I get the chance.
On a mission to end the paternity puzzlement, Ms. Garrett was in court to hold Mr. Boer accountable for his deadbeat behavior towards her 2-year-old daughter, Naomi. However, in his defense, the alleged baby daddy did not know of the child's existence.
We both grown, we both did what we did, and the result to the fact that we did, we created a beautiful baby girl, and I just need to clarify to him that she is his, because if the fact that when the test results come back that she is his, he will take care of my daughter, he will be responsible, because if not, I have no problem with taking him to child support at all.
A month of relentless, unprotected sex, she asserted, left no room for doubt. To Mr. Boer, however, even such a dynamic wasn't convincing enough for the alleged father. Still, their intertwined history came to light in the courtroom, where a past liaison showed a 31-day period of passionate intimacy that blurred the lines between friendship and commitment.
Because you were using protection.
No, we was not.
And that's why you believe Mr. Boer is your child's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Boer, do you admit you had 31 straight days of unprotected sex with Ms. Garrett?
No, I do not. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't 31 days consistently. It was about a month worth of it, but it would be only like on the weekends, like.
The revelation that Miss Garrett had strategically blocked Mr. Boer during a committed relationship with another man added layers to the unfolding drama. The court grappled with the intricacies of emotions as the judge dissected the motivations behind silencing one party amidst the pursuit of happiness with another.
I got zero spiritual energy from this child. I had zero vibe with this child. I looked at her. She don't look like me. She don't look like my sister. She don't look like no female in my family. She don't look like nobody in my family.
All children don't have to look like the father. They can look like me. They can look like the grandma. You don't know who to look like. It could be a visual of both of us. It's not all.
The climax arrived with the DNA test results, leaving the audience gasping as it was declared that Mr. Boer was not the father. Miss Garrett, seemingly unfazed, stood firm in her resolve to raise Naomi alone. The court offered parting wisdom, a reminder of the strength required, irrespective of the outcome.
Miss Garrett, look at me. You gotta stop beating yourself up and start building yourself up. And you've gotta be strong enough, if you do know who her biological father is, to make that first step to contact him and to do this process for a third time, not for yourself, but for your daughter.
In the case of Miss Boer, Miss Fields sought to establish Mr. Sandifer's paternity. Each woman believed she was his only daughter, and Mr. Sandifer expressed doubts about being the father to either. Miss Fields recounted a strained relationship, claiming Mr. Sandifer denied paternity when she asked for financial help.
Well, I sent him a message on Facebook asking him if I could borrow some money, and he responded with, maybe I need to find my real dad, that he wasn't even my father.
I was upset, Your Honor, at that point in time because she just kept on aggravating me about money.
But you've never done anything for me. With me.
What do you mean I have never done anything?
You've never
for you?
done
I
anything.
carried you to the park, I carried you to the fairs.
When?
Mr. Sandifer, while acknowledging he was not present throughout Miss Fields' life, maintained he had fulfilled paternal responsibilities when he could. He expressed similar sentiments about Miss Boer, whom he had raised until separation from her mother at age 8.
She slept. You were the one that stayed in the bar looking for women. Every woman.
So what? And your mother was one of them.
She worked at a bar. She had 2 jobs to support me and my
she hung
sisters.
out there afterward, too.
Okay, just because she hung out, does that mean she's sleeping with other people? You hang out at a bar, are you sleeping with everybody in the bar?
If I get the chance.
After this, Judge Lake revealed DNA test results indicating that Mr. Sandifer was not the biological father of either woman. The revelation deeply affected everyone present, with Mr. Sandifer offering continued support despite the biological disconnect.
Mr. Sandifer, you have indicated you will still be here for the girls and their children, and I think that's commendable.
Yes, Your Honor.
And ladies, I think your dad could use a hug.
Sorry, girls. I'm so sorry.
Miss Boer's educational struggles were also addressed, linking them to her strained relationship with Mr. Sandifer. The court denied her claim for the cost of a GED program, citing a lack of evidence of negligence on Mr. Sandifer's part.
Ms. Boer, the basis of your suit was that your father, the man that raised you, was responsible for providing you with an education. And unfortunately, I cannot award you any money for an additional test because there have been no facts presented that he was at all negligent. Your claim is denied.
Yes, Your Honor.
Following the courtroom proceedings, the judge extended support to Ms. Boer by assisting her with her education through a paid GED program, emphasizing the court's commitment to helping those who are ready to help themselves.
I have reached out to a GED program in your home state, and we have completely paid for, and we are willing to provide you with the opportunity to get that education if you'd like it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can I give you a hug?
Oh, yes, I love hugs.
In the case of Butterfield versus Bracknell Dallas, the couple sought to establish paternity of 2-month-old Kara, claiming that Miss Bracknell denied him access due to concerns about family stability. Miss Bracknell, in a relationship with Mr. Dallas, disputed Mr. Butterfield's paternity claims, asserting that there was no possibility he was Kara's biological father.
You lived together?
Yes, we did.
And you were in a relationship?
Yes, Your Honor. She had told me when we were breaking up, she said, "Thank you for the gift." And I said, "What gift was that?"
And it wasn't till later that you found out she was pregnant. And then when you found that out, you thought to yourself, was that the gift?
Yes, Your Honor.
When she said thank you for the gift, you said, oh, that's what she was talking about.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Bracknell insisted that Mr. Dallas was Kara's father, presenting a calendar indicating that she and Mr. Butterfield were not intimate during the conception period. Mr. Butterfield recounted a previous relationship with Miss Bracknell, stating they had lived together and tried to conceive before separating. He discovered Miss Bracknell's pregnancy only months after their breakup.
Mr. Butterfield, you look at this calendar. Is this accurate? Is this when the relationship ended and when she went back to Mr. Dallas?
No, Your Honor, it's not.
It's not?
No.
What do you remember?
Oh, because honestly, we were sleeping together after that, all the way up until October 8th, the last time we had sex. Because I remember, I can take a lie detector test if you want to prove it.
Amidst accusations, Mr. Butterfield expressed his desire to be in his daughter's life, but faced resistance from Miss Bracknell. The judge revealed DNA test results, establishing Mr. Butterfield as Kara's biological father, causing emotional reactions from both parties.
So you were correct, Mr. Butterfield.
How's it feel?
Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, be there.
I will.
Okay.
Now you gotta look at me all the time when I come.
I ain't gotta look at you ever. Everything.
Listen, we say in this courtroom, plaintiffs lie, defendants lie, the DNA doesn't lie.
The judge encouraged a cooperative approach, suggesting that Mr. Dallas be supportive of Kara building a relationship with her biological father. Despite the revelation, Mr. Dallas expressed his commitment to maintain their family and welcome Mr. Butterfield's involvement.
Mr. Butterfield, is it your intention to be a part of this child's life?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here today.
No, you just didn't want to pay. I want to get out of here.
I could have stood back and let him, raise her and not done a thing about it. But I'm here, trying to be a part of my daughter's life.
The courtroom solemnity intensified as the case of Dark versus Bailey unwrapped, exposing a saga of heartbreak, betrayal, and an 11-month-old boy named Jameer in the balance. Mr. Dark accused Miss Bailey of being a promiscuous liar who shattered their relationship 4 years prior. Their tumultuous history, marked by infidelity, came to light, with Mr. Dark recounting a painful discovery through her best friend.
Her friend started to tell me a story. She was like, well, the whole time that you was gone, she was cheating on you.
Her best friend told you
This
that?
is what her best friend told me. Yes, ma'am.
And I only did it because I thought you was cheating on me.
Okay. But.
So you admit you cheated on him?
I did.
Okay, and so your best friend told on you?
Yep.
Miss Bailey, unwavering in her claim that Mr. Dark was Jameer's father, stood resolute despite his denials. The narrative further unraveled, revealing intermittent encounters over the years, creating a complicated set of emotions.
From the beginning, I was there at the hospital when Jameer was born. Even with my doubts, he really was my son, and I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do as a father. The onesies and stuff that he took home,
Okay, so
I
why
bought for
did you
them.
sign the birth
Pampers,
certificate?
And the reason why I signed the birth certificate, to answer your question, is because you told me at the hospital that if I didn't sign it right then I wouldn't have another opportunity to sign. That's what you told me right there.
A surprising twist emerged as Mr. Dark's current girlfriend contested Jameer's resemblance to him, adding a layer of complexity to the already convoluted situation. Amidst accusations, the courtroom dove into the intricacies of Jameer's conception timeline, conflicting with Mr. Dark's accounts.
First, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like the baby looks like him. That's just my personal opinion. My due date is November 19th. My conception date is February 24th.
Oh, what you're saying is that you have a similar due date as when Jameer was born.
Yes.
The emotional crescendo reached its zenith as Miss Bailey's tears unveiled the pain and uncertainty she carried. The DNA test results became the focal point, revealing Mr. Dark as Jameer's biological father. The atmosphere in the courtroom shifted back and forth between moments of relief and tension, with Jameer's destiny closely linked to the changing dynamics between Miss Bailey and Mr. Dark.
I saw genuine emotion on your face because I felt like in that moment you understood that for almost a year, this baby has been denied and he doesn't deserve that. And I have to say this to you. Yes, Miss Bailey has made mistakes, but let's be clear. It could not have happened unless you participated too.
The tension escalates as allegations of paternity by Jacksons, defamation, and family turmoil unfolded. The case revolved around the disputed fatherhood of 2-year-old Elijah Jackson, with Miss McBirth accusing Mr. Hughes of being stuck between his mother and ex-girlfriend.
You're suing Miss Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character because you claim she posted comments on social media claiming you and your family are deadbeats. Miss McBirth has been poisoning her son by convincing him he's not the biological father of your child. You claim the timing does add up and today's paternity test will prove you right.
Miss McBirth, asserting that Elijah wasn't Mr. Hughes' biological child, presented a photo to the court, emphasizing the child's alleged dissimilarity to their family. Miss Jackson contested this, emphasizing Elijah's features and dismissing claims of infidelity, as the baby has white skin color.
The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family. Can I show it? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am. What did you bring? Piece of evidence, Jerome, may I
Yes.
see that, please? A photo of your son and the child in question?
Right.
And you say the child looks nothing like your son?
That baby white as snow. There's no way that could be my grandchild or my son's baby.
The courtroom atmosphere intensified as accusations flew back and forth. Miss McBirth sought a DNA test and sued Miss Jackson for defamation, claiming damaging comments on social media. In response, Miss Jackson argued that Miss McBirth poisoned Elijah against his father.
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy.
But
it stops today, because that baby is not my son.
Here's the thing that she does.
Here's the sorry.
That's a lie.
Yes, it is.
No, that's
it's
a lie.
not.
That's a lie.
First of all, she's a liar because you just had a wild sex fight that got shut down by the police station last week.
Hello.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes,
that
you did.
is not
Yes,
true.
you did. Yes, you did.
Amidst the chaos, Mr. Hughes stood conflicted, torn between family ties and the paternity dispute. The family history reveals a mixed-up relationship and doubts.
That child is not my son's, okay? She got men coming and going in and out of her house.
My father's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
How you know? He
just
just gonna say that
blonde-haired,
because, you know, she gonna freak him after this.
So now, wait a minute, you're accusing your
My
brother
brother-
of not having enough sense to testify as to his own experience?
The emotional climax reached its peak with the DNA test results, ultimately revealing that Mr. Hughes was indeed Elijah's biological father. The revelation sparked a mix of emotions, from disbelief and anger to relief.
You are Elijah's father.
No, what? That's a lie. That's not true. You a lying trick. What did you do? I'm through. I know that's a damn lie.
It's Mr. Hughes' son. And everything you're saying right now, believe me, you will regret one day.
This case was a complete mess and was testing Judge Lake's patience. Miss Hatcher accidentally revealed that she was involved in some dishonest activities and requested a DNA test because there are 3 possible fathers in the paternity mix.
At the time, I had sex with 3 different men around the same time my son conceived. I did have a 5.5-month fling with Mr. Scott, and I also had...
No, Your Honor, that is not true.
I also had a 7.5-year relationship with my ex, and I had a one-night stand with him around the time. And I also had a one-night stand with Mr. Blake.
Now that everything is out in the open, the judge decided to check the conception calendar. It revealed a lot of questionable actions from both sides, which was not pleasant to see. However, Mr. Scott's behavior was particularly unfair.
Did you use protection?
No, we did not.
How much did he pay?
Excuse me, Mr. Scott? You're gonna be respectful in this courtroom.
Your Honor, this is him. He is a disrespectful man. He is very ignorant. He's all that to me and my son.
It seems the man at the front was unintentionally driving his woman into the company of other men due to his lack of understanding. Although Miss Hatcher, she tried to resolve things for nearly 5 months, the man didn't make it easy.
You admitted in court today that you had a 5.5-month fling with a gentleman that can look across the aisle at you and ask you, how much does someone pay for your sexual services?
That's the reason why I wasn't with him, Your Honor. That's the reason why after the 5.5 months, I seen
5.5 months is too long.
Well, you know, yeah, you're right.
But Mr. Scott also had his explanation. He claimed he was unaware of other possible fathers and had been acting as the father the whole time. He even signed the birth certificate. On the contrary, the baby mama didn't agree with his version of events.
I added up the dates and everything. I thought I conceived in January. To find out I didn't conceive in January, I conceived in December. So then I was like, oh man, you know, I came to him like a woman and I said, you know what, Josiah might not be yours.
Why didn't you just win?
Josiah might not,
When?
But Josiah might not be yours.
When did you do that?
Miss Hatcher went on to reveal that it was the defendant's girlfriend who influenced him negatively, and he started behaving foolishly thereafter. Upon hearing this, the judge turned to the other possible father on the stand, who also seemed puzzled.
Why are you doubtful?
It was a one-night stand.
So you feel like just because it was a one-night stand, your odds
are very slim.
And he also told me that he made his first child off a one-night stand.
Yeah,
he said
I
it possibly
understand that,
can
but
be.
Your Honor, if the child's mine, I don't have a problem with taking care of mine.
That's good to know.
Even Mr. Scott didn't want to be portrayed as a villain. Homeless or not, he was taking care of all his children except for this one. His doubt about paternity made him emotional when discussing it. The judge concluded it like this.
When this man stepped up and signed the birth certificate, that's it. Because that's what babies deserve. Their mother and their father in the hospital when they're born, signing the birth certificate and living their life. Not 2 years later, still sitting up here arguing.
I'm sorry,
talking about, we don't know this and she did this and he did this, talking about nothing.
Oh, now I get it. Judge Lake is in charge here. And she made it pretty clear that her courtroom is for kids who can't ask about paternity. Grown-ups, on the other hand, can continue with their games as much as they'd like. This seems like a strong hint about what the outcome might be.
When it comes to Mr. Blake, you are not the father.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Scott, you are the father. You happy?
Thank you. That means he has my name and I don't have to change it.
Right.
Thank you.
Looks greener on the other side, but you gotta be careful because there could be a river or a lake. It looked good on the other side with this man. It seemed fun. He was doing all the things you wanted him to do, sexually. You are his father.
That's what I'm talking about. Get your life together. You ain't had no business question mine.
Yeah, I question it. I question it because he
we don't want nothing from him.
Your Honor.
Oh, this is my young bull. He look just like me. This
When
is my
did
young
I
bull.
ever say that?
Oh, I
You
can
lying
right
right
here.
through your
When we
teeth,
go
yo.
upstairs.
You just a
Oh, mom,
liar.
your grandbaby here.
So, there was this whole drama, right? Mr. Conway was like, nope, not the dad of 20-year-old Trayvon Cruz, as he had a whopping $53,000 in backed child support hanging over his head and had been arrested a bunch of times. On the flip side, Miss Cruz was set on Conway being Trayvon's dad and accused him of being a deadbeat.
I'm not receiving nothing. I'm not receiving no aid for the state or anything. So why am I not getting my money? I want my money if he's...
So you haven't received any support?
Off and on, $29.
Impossible, Your Honor.
He
Get out of
did
here.
nothing. Probably
Come on.
altogether maybe $5,000 over 20 years. I don't really know.
Really?
Conway's defense? He was all tangled up in complications from different child support orders. And you had this clash where Miss Cruz was saying Conway hadn't chipped in for their kids' upbringing, but Conway was throwing shade, claiming he had been making payments in Nebraska.
Well, I'm paying child support in Nebraska, but he has 2 orders. 1 order in Nebraska, 1 order in Missouri. I didn't know nothing about exactly where they was in 2005 until I got arrested.
And you've never hired an attorney to deal with this issue?
Ma'am, that's just the problem. If I had to get an attorney, I had to get an attorney from Missouri, but I live in Nebraska.
Arrested 10 times? Oh man! But wait, there was more coming as the alleged father dropped a bomb that the defendant herself had told him not to sign the birth certificate in the hospital. Miss Cruz fired back, saying he wasn't even around when that piece of paper was handed out. Even though he swore he was there for her C-section, she was like, nope, he bounced before the birth certificate scene.
So what you're saying, Miss Cruz, is by the time they brought the birth certificate,
exactly,
he was not there.
He wasn't there. He's back in the streets.
I was in the room.
That was all the relationship.
On the way home from the hospital that night after you told me not to sign
You all
3 days at a
stop talking over one another. I cannot hear you.
After this, the plaintiff brought up the timing game. He said Miss Cruz told him about the pregnancy in July, and the baby popped out on January 17th. He was doing the math, questioning if that was enough time for a full-term pregnancy. Miss Cruz stood her ground, saying Trayvon was a full-termer, suggesting Conway wasn't MIA for as long as he claimed.
Bottom line is, this
He's a liar.
6-7 month pregnancy, in your mind, you're saying,
Yeah.
tell me you're pregnant in July, we having a baby in January, this math doesn't add up. And now you're almost close to $54,000 behind in child support, and you say there's absolutely no way this child could be yours.
No, Your Honor.
Then there was Trayvon, the guy at the center of it all. He was out here confirming that, growing up, he thought Mr. Conway was his dad, even though the birth certificate didn't back that up. He reminisced about awful hangouts with Conway, like that one time they hit up a strip club, in which he had to stay outside while Daddy enjoyed some action.
I pay for everything. Every week I get paid. I call my girlfriend. I'm telling her, what do you need? I don't care what it is.
That's good for you.
Bro,
You're
not
supposed
a
to do
man,
that.
bro.
I done did the
You're
same
not
for
a
you.
man.
I did the same for you. You was mine.
Bro, and real
You was
men
mine.
will stop being in the streets, man. And
What
man
streets
up
you
for their
talking
kids.
about, Trayvon? I've been working all my life.
I've never had
That's
nothing
that junk
from
your
you.
mama tell
All
me.
right.
Sadly, that whole situation was a total mess that seriously needed a clear-cut ending. Mr. Conway had his fair share of run-ins with the law and battles over child support. But let's be real, he had some responsibilities to his maybe son. That was the whole deal with paternity court, right? Time to wrap this one up for good.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Conway, you are his father.
That's what I'm talking about. Get your life together. Get your life together.
my life is
You ain't
together.
had no business question mine.
Yeah, I question it. I question it because he questioned
We don't want
it.
nothing from him.
Your Honor.
Miss Chappelle throws a curveball, suggesting that the child might be a result of her illicit affair, leaving her broken husband standing at the podium beside her. However, the twist is that her father doesn't want this roller coaster for his grandchild, fearing a painful deja vu.
Why are you so adamant about not wanting them to have these results?
I met her mother when she was pregnant about 3 months, and we made an agreement one time just to walk away from it. It's the point that the granddaughter, I don't want to see her go down that road. Some things are better left unsaid, ma'am.
However, the baby mama had her heart set on finding the truth no matter the cost. After this confession, we got to know about Chappelle's fairy tale romance that ended in an unsatisfied sex life and an unapologetic cheating saga.
It's communication in a marriage. When your wife tells you she's not happy like that, you should want to listen to her.
Okay.
Because that's what made me go and do what I did. And I found somebody that gave me what I needed sexually. Do I regret it? Yes, I do. I do regret it every day, but I don't regret my daughter.
Oh man, the truth spill was uncomfortable for everyone, leading the judge to dive into the conception calendar details. And yes, Mommy was juggling both men simultaneously. Just the perfect recipe for paternity confusion, ain't it?
I even had her 2 weeks early, and that made the doubt even higher than what it was. Because they kept changing my due date, and I was going by the ovulation calculator to keep from getting pregnant. And I messed up the days, and that's when I got pregnant.
Were you having protected sex with a
No,
gentleman?
It was always unprotected sex.
Yup, the judge did give Mommy that look. Not surprisingly, the defendant had no inkling of his wife's dirty business initially. Well, he did perceive that things were tense between them, evident in their constant bickering like cats and dogs. But the kicker? This is how he stumbled upon the other guy.
I was 6 weeks pregnant, and he's like, you need to get out of my house. So I had to go move in with my family. And the whole time, this other guy, he doesn't want me to tell my husband. He wants to keep everything a secret, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I told him right after Father's Day I was pregnant. And I was so upset because I didn't want to have to tell him, well, I don't know if she's yours or not.
Chaos is the mantra for this case. The other potential father wanted no part in the baby girl's life, while the defendant not only stewed in this mess, but also agreed to let the boyfriend join the doctor's appointments. This revelation made Judge Lake's schooling antenna go up.
It was time for him to deal with the consequences. He's not available. He doesn't want to come to the appointments. Your own husband goes to talk to him and say, yo, man, let's figure out what's going on. We got a situation. He's not even man enough to have a conversation.
I couldn't get no response from him. A couple days later, I went back to his house. I informed his wife what was going on.
Love, lies, and limbo. Just the right time to cue the result. While we wondered who would be the real dad, Mommy finally apologized for the pain she put her husband through and wished only if the result could finally fix everything.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Chappelle, you are not her biological father.
Why'd you do this for?
I'm so sorry.
I'm still gonna be there for her.
That's exactly what this court wanted to hear.
We've got a secret that's been under wraps for a whopping 25 years, and it's tearing the mother and son apart. I mean, they're not even on speaking terms anymore. Cause Miss Weeks, the queen of keeping things hush-hush, somehow managed to hide a fling for almost 3 decades.
Ms. Moore, what was the secret that you kept for almost 3 decades?
29 years ago, I had an affair between 2 guys, and I didn't tell my son.
Okay, I'd like to bring your son in at this time.
But guess what? Mr. Moore, her son, started smelling something fishy back when he was just 9 years old. Picture playing hide and seek with your own dad for that long. And to top it off, he grew up in a pretty strict household.
I kept hearing rumors from outside family members that Maurice might not be my father or I might not be his son. I asked, but I always get the same results. For a long time, I got the same results.
Your Honor, he never asked me. Had my son asked me, I would have told him.
I told her, I came to her and asked her. She always told me, Maurice is your father.
Now, let's fast forward to a typical evening. A casual walk to the grocery store becomes the tipping point for Mr. Moore. He marches home and decides it's time to confront his mom once and for all. She tries to play it cool, but when the truth hits you square in the face, good luck with that.
He came into town. I didn't even know my son was coming into town. He came out with it. I told him, I don't know. If he had asked me at 3, if he had said anything at 18 when he graduated, yes, I still would have told him, but I would have still said, don't tell your grandmother.
How did we end up in this messy paternity situation, you ask? Well, Mother Dear had her reason for keeping it from her son. And get this, the husband was in on the whole thing. Yeah, the potential daddy was cool with the situation, but poor Mr. Weeks was anything but cool.
To make me the heavy on this here when I was living with 2 other children plus Earl with a man who accepted my children, I wasn't gonna jeopardize that to take that away from my son, who Earl know for a fact had a baby from 6 months old to 5 years old. Earl was on the road with this man.
It turns out the fear of disappointing her own mother was so strong that Miss Moore had to keep this whole possibility under wraps. Despite getting caught up in a love triangle within the past 24 to 48 hours, here they are in court, facing the consequences of their fast and furious baby edition choices. Talk about drama.
So this has been a painful secret for you to just hold in your whole life. You've known this.
Because I noticed things with Earl that wasn't a part of Maurice, that didn't resemble Maurice. I lived it with him, but I am not the only one that didn't tell him.
And the tears, they were flowing. The mother found herself torn between family and secrets, playing a game of paternity ping pong. But now, the son wants real answers, even if it means shaking up those family dynamics. It's a moment of breaking the generational cycle.
The reason why it's coming out now, it was happened to me. My mom was caught between 2 men.
This same exact thing happened to you.
Yes, and I want to stop it.
But you know, I'm beyond pleased, and I commend you just for having the courage to not keep the lie going.
From what we see, ever since Mr. Moore got wind of the doubts about his paternity, he's been a total mess. His household is feeling the fallout, especially with his fiancée. Things are getting complicated in the midst of all this devastation.
It has been frustrating for not only Earl and I, but it has also been frustrating for my 2 children. Ever since he's been going through this thing with his mother months ago when he found out, he's been distant with her, he's been distant with me, he's been distant with our children. I mean, it's like a domino effect.
When a mother gets questioned about decisions she made to protect her son, She's not exactly thrilled. Miss Moore made it clear she wasn't comfortable being in that spot, and Judge Lake had a few words to throw in too.
His hurt is not only affecting him, but your family, your kids, and that's natural. I didn't grow up in this era, but I remember the generation before me where if a young person got pregnant, they'd go off down south or somewhere for a year. I don't know if any of you remember that, and they just disappear.
Now the moment of truth is here. After an emotional roller coaster, we're about to find out if Mr. Weeks was right to doubt his paternity. Will family ties survive the shockwave, or are we about to witness the birth of a brand new family saga? Here we go!
Mr. Weeks, the man who has raised you for the past 29 years is not your biological father. Help her.
No, don't change her too much.
Miss Butts was pointing fingers at Mr. Richardson, claiming he was the dad of her child. Usually, the couple had a thing. He owned up to being the pops. Then Grandma Richardson jumped in, and boom, he was all wishy-washy. However, the plaintiff called the real reason for the denial of this.
At the end of the day, my son needs a father. Today when we get these test results, he's gonna take care of my child.
Your Honor, I met her on the corner and gave her $2 and a cigarette.
Ooh,
she came back with me. So listen, I know I got game. But I didn't invent it. The next man give her $5.
You gonna take care of mine? How you lie like that?
Trying to hear that.
You lying?
So mommy knew what she wanted. On the contrary, Mr. Richardson tried to blame baby mama, tossing around a $2 cigarette pack story like it was some kind of magic fix. He attempted to be the dad, but said he only saw the child 3 times. Miss Butts spilled that he played the good dad during her pregnancy.
He met me outside. Oh, he my son, he looked just like me. The whole 9 months he was his. The whole 9 months.
I never said he looked like me. I never said he looked like me.
Oh, mom, your grandson here, your grandson here. She came outside, she ain't hold him. She just looked at him. Oh, he's cute. Mom said he gonna her room. Oh, he come back out. Oh, I want a DNA test because my mom said he too dark. That's ignorant.
But the grandma wasn't buying it, saying the baby's looks got them questioning Mr. Richardson's dad status. They threw out the idea of a DNA test, but mommy wasn't feeling it. Then, bam! Mr. Richardson landed in jail and found out Miss Butts had moved on while he was doing time.
When I got back out, I'm trying to get in contact with her because I remember her telling me she's pregnant and all that. Where she said, I said, I want to see you. She with another dude. That's gotta be the father.
Were you with another guy, Miss Butts? Yes, I was. You were. But I was already 2 months pregnant.
And she thought it was my baby. She would have been at my house. My mom would have let her in. Open arms.
Lies.
You with another dude.
Lies.
The alleged father claimed he never knew about the child's conception, but the baby mama opposed this notion. She told the court how the guy at the podium was initially very happy to play the role of a full-fledged dad.
My son was a month old.
Another man's baby.
He met me outside. As soon as he see my baby, oh, this is my young bull. He look just like me. This is my young bull.
When did I ever say that?
Oh, I can't wait here.
Your teeth,
go upstairs.
You just
oh,
a
mom,
liar.
your grandbaby here. She come out, look at my son, go back in the room.
I always wanted
to. So hold on, Miss Butts. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on indeed, because it got even wilder. Mr. Richardson was a no-show at the baby's birth. Showed up a month later claiming dad status, but you guessed it, went back to denying it.
When a woman doesn't know who the father is, doesn't she leave the birth certificate blank?
And so this is a sample of the birth certificate,
right.
And you say when a woman doesn't know who the father is, you leave the father's name blank.
In this case, she knows who the father is. It's not my name. It's not my name.
So you're saying she put another man on the birth certificate?
Exactly.
Yep, the one that supported me my whole pregnancy.
So, you heard the guy. When a woman does not know who the father is, she leaves it blank. But in Miss Butts' defense, Mr. Richardson was slacking on dad duties. However, the irony was that little courtier saw mommy as both his mom and dad.
My son, he said that to me the other day. Like, I don't have a dad, mommy, you're my dad. Like, a 3-year-old really came to me and said that, I don't have a dad, mommy, you're my dad. That, I really was getting ready to cry. Like, you're acting like a child. Like, you brought this baby into this world that you so far wanted. You try to name this baby Andrew Marquise. You're gonna be sorry when these results come back. I didn't know my father growing up like this. Like, that's not easy. It's not cool.
Oh, poor thing. This all clearly was not going anywhere, and Judge Lake, tired of the theatrics, decided it was DNA test time for some much-needed clarity.
Mr. Richardson, you are the father.
Judge Lauren Lake.
As long as it's okay with you, can Quartier see his daddy in my chambers?
Yes, he can.
All right.
Oh.
okay? I know. You had to know. You want to sit down? You okay? We're going to have some resources for you. We're going to help you just talk through this. I know this is not what you want to hear.
Be clear, you did not just cheat him. You cheated her. Cheated her. You knew it could be a possibility.
And I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my husband and my family over this.
Well, this is my point. You're thinking about yourself.
Hold on tight for the Woody versus Wilson roller coaster. Michael Woody and Devonna Wilson, the stars of this dramatic tale, are getting into the nitty-gritty of the whole paternity situation. It's like a soap opera, and they're front and center dealing with the twists and turns of their story.
I have a 3-year-old daughter already, so when I found out I was having a son, I was excited because what man doesn't want to have a junior, you know? So I got plans made, you know, I'm ready to go play baseball and basketball with them and, you know, all the stuff a father's supposed to do with a son. So I'm just ready, so I'm ready to be a father to a boy now.
Standing at the podium, Michael Woody talks about why he has doubts. The courtroom gets quiet as he shares his side. Devonna Wilson wants a dad for her son, and that's her plea echoing through the room.
So this is a message from Devonna Wilson. I'm pregnant, so I hope you know we're getting a DNA test when the baby's born, and I'm hitting you up with this child support. I'll see you in court. That's your first? You're gonna be a father?
Hello.
Way harsh, Miss Wilson.
The climax arrives with the unveiling of DNA results. A moment pregnant with both fear and expectation. The revelation is a seismic jolt. Michael Woody is not the biological father. The gas that sweeps through the courtroom echoes the shattered illusions of parenthood.
She's always said that to me out the gate. She's always said, we need a DNA test. We're gonna get it. She said that to me out the gate. So that wasn't anything new to me. But then she also told me out of her own mouth that some friends or her family is saying that my son looked like her ex-boyfriend.
Judge Lake, a beacon of compassion, consoles devastated Devonna and guides bewildered Michael. The courtroom becomes a cocoon of vulnerability, exposing human connections' fragility and the human spirit's resilience. Woody versus Wilson leaves an indelible mark, a tale of love tested by doubt, a journey through parenthood's labyrinth, and a reminder that heart-forged bonds endure the harshest truths.
2-month-old Michael Woody Jr. Mr. Woody, you are not his father.
What?
Jerome, will you please have her sit down?
Here comes the twist in Webb versus Forrest. The central showdown revolves around the paternity puzzle of 2-year-old Elena Forrest. Picture this. Mr. Webb, the one making the claim, says Miss Forrest vanished, and the bomb about the pregnancy only dropped after he woke up from a coma. Now the real kicker? Nobody's certain if Mr. Webb or Miss Forrest's husband is the biological dad. It's a real head-scratcher in this family saga.
Miss Forrest, how did you get yourself in this triangle?
My husband got in some trouble and I ended up meeting Mr. Webb through one of my friends. We hit it off and then I ended up leaving Mr. Forrest for Mr. Webb.
So you began a sexual relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and were you using protection at the time?
No, Your Honor.
Miss Forrest, the defendant, insists that she has no doubt about her husband being Elena's father, and is desperate to put an end to the ongoing drama. Mr. Webb, however, expresses his intention to fight for full custody rights if the DNA test confirms his paternity.
Miss Forrest, you and your husband are here today desperate to put an end to this drama. You say you have no doubt your daughter's biological father is indeed your husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Webb, what are your intentions today if the DNA determines that you are the biological father?
My intentions are to fight for full custody rights if she is my daughter.
The courtroom exchanges reveal a complex relationship history, marked by a series of events including Miss Forrest leaving Mr. Webb, a hospitalization, and subsequent doubts about paternity. Miss Forrest argues that Mr. Webb showed disinterest during her pregnancy, while Mr. Webb contends that he was denied access to Elena, his alleged daughter.
We have set up dates. Whenever she told me that I could meet Elena, I spent the last $80 I had to put in gas. She had backed out, changed her phone number, and blocked me on Facebook. 3 weeks later,
and that's like every number I get from you, it's always
changed. I tried to
changed.
contact her to meet Elena, and she would not contact me back.
Amidst accusations and emotional confrontations, the court orders a DNA test to determine Elena's biological father. The results, presented with dramatic flair by Judge Lake, reveal that Mr. Webb is indeed Elena's biological father.
Be clear, you did not just cheat him, you cheated her. Cheated her. You knew it could be a possibility.
And I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my husband and my family over this.
Well, this is my point. You're thinking about yourself.
The emotional aftermath in the courtroom exposes the pain, betrayal, and selfishness involved. Judge Lake chastises Miss Forrest for her actions, emphasizing the impact on Elena. The court session concludes with Mr. Webb granted the opportunity to meet his daughter for the first time in the judge's chambers, highlighting the complex and deeply personal nature of paternity disputes.
I think you need to step outside of yourself and your own selfishness and allow him to see his daughter in my chambers for the first time, so that maybe for the first time, her mother can stop thinking about herself.
In the Threcold versus Threcold saga, the court got into the nitty-gritty with a mix of marital drama and paternity questions. Mr. Threcold, a military guy, pointed fingers at his wife, saying she wasn't faithful, and he wanted a paternity test for their 18-month-old daughter, Lelina. Mrs. Threcold spilled the beans, admitting to exotic dancing because money was tight and confessing to some slip-ups while her husband was serving overseas. It's a tangled tale of relationships and revelations.
Actually, ma'am, I was overseas in Afghanistan, and I was at up in the Northeast, and a soldier of mine came up to me and tapped me on the boot, said, "Hey, I need to go outside. We need to talk right now." So earlier on in the day, me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke.
The narrative unfolded with Mr. Threcold discovering his wife's alleged infidelity through a fellow soldier while deployed. Upon his return, he confronted her about the situation, leading to arguments and a strained relationship. Mrs. Threcold justified her actions by citing financial struggles and an argument that supposedly ended their marriage.
We were not together. We had a phone conversation, and he had said, "We're gonna get a divorce, and I'll send you the divorce papers." And then we hung up.
I told her, "Look, if you're gonna strip after me and you," she says,
there was reasons why I needed to.
she needed the funds to support her family. Overseas,
Yeah,
I was making $4,000 to $5,000 tax-free a month.
The courtroom drama intensified as Mr. Threcold revealed his attempt to influence the situation by intentionally trying to impregnate his wife, hoping it would deter her from exotic dancing. This revelation added a layer of complexity to an already tumultuous relationship.
I'm sitting there under a streetlight with my army bag on one side and a suitcase on the other.
No, I was waiting in the car for 30 minutes.
Your Honor,
he never showed up.
Wait. You waited in the car, so when they called his name, he says no one was there to clap or cheer. Did you hear them call his name?
We weren't at the airport. I was waiting across from his unit.
The case climaxed with DNA results confirming Mr. Threcold as Lelinia's father. Emotions varied, including relief and a recognition of the need for reconciliation. The judge emphasized moving forward, rebuilding the marriage, and contributing to family restoration. The couple, willing to make amends, hinted at a potential turning point in their tumultuous journey.
I mean, it's all together. I'm happy because I know she's his, so I would like to work on everything.
Well, ma'am, there's a reason why, because since the day it's happened, since February 2011 to be exact when I found out, there has not been a day that's gone by that I haven't let her not relive the mistakes she made.
I appreciate your honesty.
The courtroom drama unfolds in Miller versus Rasmussen, centering on the paternity dispute involving 3-year-old Zaylee Rasmussen. Tensions rise as Miss Miller seeks to prove that Mr. Rasmussen is not the biological father, citing a history of denied DNA test requests. Mr. Rasmussen contends that her motive is rooted in personal animosity, alleging her reluctance to allow visitation is financially motivated.
She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when I did go to another woman.
No. He cheated on me through pretty much our whole relationship. I believe that the only reason why he wants the visitation is to claim her on his taxes.
That is furthest thing from the truth. My daughter means the world to me. I want to be in her life as much as I possibly can.
The backstory reveals Mr. Rasmussen's admission of infidelity, causing Ms. Miller's loss of respect. Amid accusations and counterclaims, the court delves into the complexity of custody arrangements and child support.
Ms. Miller, you were stating to the court that you were clearly at some point, Mr. Rasmussen either was informed that he was her biological father because he is paying child support, he's still driving 160 miles each way, and she has his last name.
The turning point arrives with the judge ordering a DNA test to settle the paternity dispute. An air of anticipation engulfs the courtroom as both parties await the results. In a dramatic revelation, the DNA test confirms that Mr. Rasmussen is not Zaley's biological father.
That's a lot of nerve considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you. You just showed me where your priorities were right there. That cheering you did? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me on my child. What you cheering for?
I'm not.
No, you were. He is over here breaking down because he loves this child so much.
Emotions erupt. Mr. Rasmussen is devastated, expressing his deep love for Zaley. However, Ms. Miller's celebratory reaction draws a stern rebuke from Judge Lake, who emphasizes the gravity of the situation and the potential impact on Zaley's life.
Sitting here day after day with women hoping a man would drive 16 miles to see their baby, much less 160 miles each way, and abide by a court order and sign a birth certificate and come day after day and week after week so they can grow visitation to have a relationship with a child. And you have no compassion for not just him, but for Zaley. She's 3 years old.
Amid the somber atmosphere, the judge urges Ms. Miller to consider the consequences of her actions and recommends counseling for both parties. The court session concludes with a palpable sense of sadness, leaving Mr. Rasmussen grappling with shattered expectations and uncertainty about the future dynamics between the parties and Zaley's paternity.
Mr. Rasmussen, I am so sorry. I know this hurts you.
Thank you, Your Honor. She's my whole world.
Your child deserves to know who her father is, wants to be in her life, physically present. He does have a legal obligation to help support her financially. It's important that you make this right.
In the legal dispute of Hayes versus Hayes, the family's tangled web unraveled as emotions ran high. Michelle Hayes accused her sister Shayna of betraying their sister bond by engaging in an affair with Michelle's husband of 10 years, Corey Hill. Shayna in turn defended her actions, expressing regret and acknowledging her troubled past, marked by drug addiction and homelessness.
Your Honor, I went to Chicago after not hearing from her for 7 years. The one time I did hear from her, she didn't even know who I was on the phone. She walks up to me and she weighs 56 pounds, has sores all over her. We left Chicago at Sunday morning. I'm getting her dressed. I'm putting clothes on this child to take her back to Houston with me.
The heart of the matter lay in the paternity of Shayna's 10-month-old daughter, Kayla. Michelle vehemently doubted Corey's ability to father a child due to his history of failed paternity claims with other women. Shayna, desperate for a resolution, sought a paternity test to prove Corey's parentage. Amidst accusations, tears, and family turmoil, Judge Lake delivered the long-awaited results.
I looked at a beautiful little girl on this screen, and all I can think is she deserves more than this. I think it's time to reveal the results. Mr. Hill, you are her father.
To the relief of Shayna and Corey, the DNA test revealed that Corey is indeed Kayla's biological father. The revelation brought mixed emotions to the courtroom. Corey expressed his commitment to being a responsible father, acknowledging past mistakes with other children he believed were his. Shayna tearfully apologized for her actions and sought understanding from her sister.
What I was back then, I'm not today. A time frame to grow and get better, and I'm sorry that I didn't make the right decision, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm gonna do my best.
Your Honor, I would just like to say that I hope that in the near future, that me and their relationship, because at the end of the day, I never wanted to break two sisters apart, separate them, or have them feeling the way they feel right now.
Judge Lake, in her customary wisdom, urged the family to focus on the best interest of the child. She encouraged Michelle to find closure and rebuild her relationship with Shayna outside the shadow of past grievances. The judge also emphasized the importance of Mr. Hill signing the birth certificate, cementing his legal role in Kayla's life.
Ms. Hayes, Michelle, you've said that you've moved on. I am hoping you will a relationship with your sister that can exist outside of just this man. Mr. Hill is the father. Can you move forward? The court will provide you with drug counseling resources. You continue your healing. You must do this.